Hi, welcome to the Diabetic Diary, or Taming Diabetes, wherever you're watching it. I just wanted to do a quick video on dealing with the shock of a diagnosis of diabetes. In my case, type 2, so I can't really talk about a diagnosis of type 1. So when I was first diagnosed, I was basically phoned up by my doctor and told to attend his surgery immediately. My blood sugar levels were at 25, which is really high. I'm not sure what that is in the other measurement, but it's high. So I attended. The nurses and doctors were panicking, running around, mentioning hospital, insulin. I was petrified. Until then, I knew diabetes was something to do with sugar and insulin, and that was it. So, I had a little bit explained to me, and I realised by seeing the reaction of the doctor then that this was going to be a significant part of my life from then on. So I went home in absolute shock. I started researching, which put me further into shock. I was petrified. I was reading about amputations, I was reading about blindness, stroke, heart attack, neuropathy, all those horrible things. I was petrified. So that's what it started for me. I had nightmares, everything. So then I thought, right, I've got to find out about this disease. And I've always enjoyed researching things anyway. So I set about researching diabetes, and I researched it and researched it and researched it. I did hours of research, and I finally came to the conclusion from all the forums I went to, from books, and I'll be doing a video about a very good book in the near future. So after reading all those things, I came to the conclusion that, right, I can control this. I can tame this diabetes. And that's why I came up with the name of this website, Taming Diabetes, because that's how I thought of it at the time. So I realised that I have to get my blood sugar levels back to the stage they were as a non-diabetic, for me to be able to sit comfortably again and not feel terrified all the time. Because when I was diagnosed, and I'm sure it happens for most people, I went through those stages that they say that the stages they say that people go through when they're bereaved, or a relationship splits up. They go through an acceptance, anxiety, anger, and then finally accept. Those stages. I'm not sure what they are. So I went through those, and then I came out the other side, and I finally accepted it, and I got to work. I stopped eating carbs, I started exercising, I lost weight, blah blah blah. I did all those good things, and my blood sugar levels dropped, my weight was falling off. I dropped 3 waist sizes for my jeans, all that good stuff. So that carried on for a few months. Everything was great, and I'll tell you something. I felt the best I'd felt for years. I felt as healthy as when, because about, I don't know, 10 or 11 years ago, something like that, I left the army, and while I was in the army, I was very, very, very fit. Not just army fit, but I went running competitively as well on top of that, so I was really, really fit. And when I got my blood sugar levels back down to normal, I felt that fit again. It was fantastic. So I'd done all this hard work, all the research, all the changes to my diet, all the exercise, and I felt great. And then I became complacent, and I started eating and drinking alcohol every night again, like I had been. All these things that had led to my diabetes, because I'm a firm believer that it was my fault I got diabetes. It was my lifestyle. There's no beating around the bush. So, but anyway, I went back to all this, and I didn't care. And when I look back at that period now, which went on for, I don't know, about 6 months, and I put my weight back on. I put more weight back on. 1.5, 2 stone, and there's 14 pounds in a stone. So 1.5, 2 stone I put back on. Blood sugar levels started climbing. And then suddenly I found myself back in that shock. I can't remember how or when, but at some point I realised, oh my god, what am I doing? my blood sugars are back up, I've got diabetes, it hit me. And I'm not sure if that was some delayed shock, maybe I hadn't accepted it before. I thought I had, and maybe that was the time I accepted it. So since then, touch wood, have come to accept it fully. I have got diabetes and I have to deal with it, or there are going to be complications further down the line, because I'm 41, I'm not getting any younger. I don't want any complications further down the line that I can help. So I eat low carbs, all these things, okay? So if you're watching this video because you have just been diagnosed, then I would advise you just to face the fact that you have got diabetes and it's scary, and then face the fact that there are things you can do about it, because you hear all these horror stories, but then you hear about 25% or something like that of diabetics who don't get any complications, and I want to be in that 25%, and I hope you want to be, and I hope you will be in that 25% of diabetics who don't get complications. Now I believe that those 25% of diabetics who don't get any complications are the ones who low carb, and they do things like that. They lose their weight, they exercise. They're the ones who are, they try their best at everything they do to lower their blood sugar levels, because the other 75% are probably trying their best. Because if I'd have listened to everything I was told by the NHS, which for those of you not in Britain is our National Health Service, the free health service, if I had listened to everything they told me when I was diagnosed, I would be eating starchy carbs with every meal. Yeah, I would be eating fruit, and I would be eating the typical healthy diet that they advise everybody eat. I'd be eating all that. I'd be eating potatoes with a starchy carb with every meal, they say. But then they say to a diabetic, your blood sugar level should be at, I think it's 7.5 2 hours after you've eaten, and they accept that as having control of your blood sugar levels within the NHS. But that's way too high. I want mine back under 6 2 hours after eating. So what I'm saying is, I believe that the 25% of people who won't get complications are the people who get their blood sugar levels back down as close as possible to a non-diabetic. Now what I do is, I use my wife as a sort of measuring gauge for my blood sugar levels. She eats something, 2 hours later she measures. I want mine to be near enough the same, as close as I can. That's how I do it. And the way I see it is, if I went to another surgery, another doctor who isn't my doctor now, and he took all the tests, he would say I'm not diabetic on paper. So that translates to me as I won't get complications of diabetes because my blood isn't in the danger zone. Now I may be wrong, but that's the way I've dealt with the shock, and it's working. So I would just say to you, do loads and loads of research and understand that you've got to make some changes to your life, but it's going to be worth it, and it's not the end of the world. You'll soon get over the shock, and you'll enjoy your life. You've just got to make a few changes here and there. Well, I hope that's helped in a small way. It's very hard to get over everything I wanted to say in such a short time, because I'm looking at the clock. I've only got 10 minutes because my camera doesn't record any longer. So I hope that's helped, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.